But I think there's a lot of confusion on, how did they vote on this and it pass 12-3 a year ago and then have it brought back to, the voting circle? And I agree. Like, that's screwed up, right? When you just kind of like, how did that happen? I mean, if it was voted on and it was already agreed upon and the votes were there and it happened, then what's the issue, right?
So are you about to provide the explanation? Because a lot of people have been asking this question.
The explanation that I know from people at LSU is that it did not go through the proper protocol of, like, if you're going to build a statue, if you're going to name a building, if you're going to name a street, Skip Burtman Boulevard over there, that used to be North Stadium Drive, one of the stadium drives. But, I mean, like, when that all happened, when they put up the Simone Augustus statue, when they put up, the Shaquille O'Neal, the Bob Pettit, the Pistol Pete statue, when they named the building after Pistol Pete, I don't think that the building was, because it was the 70s and, like, the city of Baton Rouge owned them. It was weird. But to go through all those processes, LSU has a protocol of getting that done. And it's either the athletic director's office has to nominate it to the Hall of Fame committee, then the Hall of Fame committee has to push it through where it ultimately gets to the Board of Supervisors where they vote on it, and from that vote, they move in action, right? Well, from what I have been told by numerous sources up at LSU who are very well versed on the protocol, is that last year at this time, the protocol was not followed. And that's why it is being brought back up to vote a year later. Or at least that's what that's what the side is using that wants a revote, is that the protocol and the policies that LSU has put in place to make something like this happen, to, build a statue. Which, by the way, why is it taking so long to build Burrow's statue?
I don't know.
I mean, can we get this done? I mean, like, we're throwing statues up, of everybody now at LSU. Can we get Joe Burrow a statue, for God's sakes?
What's the rule? You have to graduate or something?
He's graduated.
Yeah. All right. Well,
I mean, he's checked all the boxes.
Yeah, the years are,
if we're handing out statues, let's get the Burrow statue built.
I'll build it myself.
But
so how did it get through then for this entire year? How did we get to
Great question.
This?
I was like, so how the hell did last year happen?
Right.
Right? Well, new president.
Okay.
New board members being brought in. And this is something that has been voted on before and has been declined.
Okay.
3 times.
Like the correct way? It went through the correct...
It went through the correct channels of what I know, a minimum of 3 times.
Okay.
It could have been more. That could be just 3. But I know it's gone through 3 times and that it has been voted down, that it was rejected 3 times. And that's why the Tim Brandos, the Collis Temples, the Jordy Holtbergs, the people that are very passionate about Dale Brown were making that trip up to the Board of Supervisors last year to really plead their case, because they saw this thing's on the doorstep.
Yeah.
We've been fighting for this thing for a long time. We finally got an opportunity to get this thing done. And that's why there was so much passion being shown at that supervisors meeting, is because they have been fighting this fight for about a decade.
God, that's
crazy. I mean, like, even when Brando used to talk to me, you know what I mean? Like, he would say, hey, help me out on this Dale Brown court thing. Like, give me some, just talk about it.
Yeah.
Like, put it out there. So they have been really pushing for this for a while. And from what I understand, and from what I have been told over the last 24 hours by numerous people who are very familiar with the process, say that last year, with the turnover in the Board of Supervisors, the new president coming in, there was a little bit of a gap that allowed a breakdown in policy. You know what I mean? Where the story was told to me that, Collis Temple and a couple of the Brown supporters really pushed William Tate when he got the job early on for some, kind of some political clout to push this through. Like, hey, you want to do a good, you want to do a solid for a lot of people that are influential. Get this Dale Brown court thing pushed through, and that's why a lot of people are coming down on Tate a year later and saying that you know, I mean, if you followed Brando over the last 24 hours, he is on a media crusade against everybody up there. And I mean, he's name calling, you know, nobody harder than the president. I mean, because he saw the president a year ago as an ally. And now he's kind of flipped, not kind of, he's flipped. And it's changed the tone of everything. You know, I mean, that's really what has pissed off that side, is that a year ago, it felt like this whole thing was aligned.
Right.
Now with a year on the job, you know, William Tate has had conversations with the governor and with other board members and with other people around, and was like, yo, look, this didn't go down the right way. And I think that's what they're using as kind of their vessel.
So is that like guilt on his part? Like he did it and now he's feeling guilty about it?
Who?
Tate.
I don't know how guilty he feels about it, because I know that,
But
I
he's
mean,
admitting that it wasn't the
it has
right
been
thing.
reported, and we told the story here. You know, I know Jeff Marks told the story on Moscona show, but we told it a month ago that Collis Temple and William Tate went and picked up Dale Brown, and they really like went with the intent of trying to like encourage him to be the voice that we're going to change the court to Sue Gunter, Dale Brown court. Like they were like, Dale, we need you to be the guy that's saying this is all good.
Right.
Like, hey, I'm pushing for this. I was a supporter of Sue. I'm for equality. Put her name on the court.
Yeah.
Well, that lunch didn't go like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that lunch ended with Dale Brown pushing away from the table, flipping the bird to, you know, those guys and leaving.
Right.
You know, and leaving that lunch. So, you know, I think they kind of looked at each other and were like, this is about to be a
This is about to be bad.
This is
Shitstorm.
about to be a shitstorm.
This is not good.
Just buckle up,
Yeah.
because the next couple of months are going to be a hell of a roller coaster ride. And that's what it is.
And they have
you
been.
know, and the roller coaster's pulling up to the theme park on Friday.
Did Brando like go to LSU or something?
He had never gone to LSU.
What? I'm
it's-
just trying to figure out his like, what's his, you know?
His stance, like
Yeah.
why he's so passionate.
Dale
And
Brown
if you,
got him the job at WAFB,
that's
right?
right. And he's been telling the story everywhere.
Well, maybe he should just get on his knees for Odell then. You know?
I mean, he's, you know, that he feels in debt to Dale for what he did for his career, and that's what he's that's what he's fighting for. But there's a lot of people that have stepped away and been like, Tim, you want to die on this hill?
I know. He
Like,
clearly does.
This is the hill that you want to, because
He is.
his tone,
He's king of the hill.
I mean,
Yeah.
his tone and his comments, you can't take that stuff back.
I know.
I mean,
You know
he's
what I mean?
almost-
Like, I mean, the stuff that he's put out there, the stuff that he's typed on social media, the names that he's called everybody from the president to the governor. I mean, he's out there promising that when the governor's seat's turning over, they're replacing all of the board of supervisors and that they're going to get it. It's just like, Tim, come here, man. Turn the microphone off. Give me your phone.
No,
You know what I mean? Like, let me take your phone away. Stop for
Yeah.
24 hours. Like, stop, man.
I
At
wish
least.
he would.
But
He's not going to till Friday, though. So we got 2 more days to hear about it. And then it'll be over, right? You're reading that comment from Dumbo, drop 23?
Jordy is as bad as Brando. For whatever reason, he wants to defend the renaming. No, I don't. I could care less
I mean,
whose name is on the court. Quite frankly, I don't think anybody's name needs to be on the floor.
Right.
Nobody has done anything to justly put their name on the basketball court in LSU basketball history.
Shaq would be it, right?
Maybe.
Just
Like-
for what he's given to the university
Maybe.
program.
like,
Maybe.
Yeah. but,
Maybe.
like,
You know, I mean,
and
that
that's
wouldn't be
just-
controversial.
That's just recognition.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
You know what I mean? That's just, I think LSU basketball, I align it with Shaquille O'Neal.
Yep.
You know what I mean? The fact that the building is named Pistol Pete, you know, the PMAC, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the fact that he's the all-time leading scorer in college basketball and one of the greatest to ever play, LSU should recognize that. Yeah. The people that we're talking about putting the names on the court did really good things for the basketball program. Good enough where they should be recognized forever. There's better ways to recognize these people than putting their name on the game floor forever. I mean, Sue Gunter has a statue in the corridor of the PMAC. Put Dale Brown a statue on the other side, on the corridor of the PMAC.
Yeah.
Allow those to live forever with their accolades, accomplishments, and who they are on, and for everybody to see for eternity in LSU basketball and keep the court open for somebody who really makes a major impact on the program from a winning standpoint. Both of those people had impacts on their respective programs on and off the court. Undeniable. Enough where they should be recognized in the history of the university where everybody remembers and knows what they've done. To say that their names belong on the court, it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
I agree.
It just doesn't make a lot of sense to
How
me.
much of an uproar would you think it would be if it was like the football stadium and it was like Billy Cannon?
Well,
This would be in line of naming the football field Charlie McClendon Field, who coached at LSU for 25 years and didn't do anything. Had really good teams, put out really good players. And look, I can't say that because it was before my time, and I never covered Coach Charlie McClendon. I never met Coach Charlie McClendon, but I can look at the stats and see that Bear Bryant used to beat his brains in every single year. No matter how good LSU was or they weren't, he couldn't beat him until the end. And that's really what he was known for. Was he a great guy? Did he affect the community? Did he win football games? Was he loyal to LSU? Check. Did he do enough to have the field named after him? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Name the practice facility after him, though.
Right? But if you want
yeah.
to bring me Nick Saban Field at Tiger Stadium, I'll listen to it. Because that guy made an enormous impact on LSU football.
That's a bold move.
He opened up the eyes of people and administrators of, hey, you can stay mediocre if you want, or you can turn this thing into a monster.
Oh my God, people would be at like the administration's building like rioting,
Burning it down.
if they tried to
Right,
name
burn
it
the
Nick
field
Saban
down.
Field. Like they'd probably try to burn the stadium down.
You know what the name of the practice facility is?
Charles McClendon.
Charlie McClendon Practice Facility.
Yeah, we'll take
Because,
that.
hey, we got to recognize Charlie McClendon. He did a really good job for LSU football. He stayed a long time. He was loyal to the program. While he was here, there was good deeds being done both on and off the field. How can we recognize him? We can't put him in the stadium, right? No, hell no. You know what I mean? I guarantee you everybody in that room was like, hell no.
Football ops is open though.
But there's a practice facility that's sitting right over there that we can put his name on the outside of the building, and everybody that drives by it, everybody that parks for an LSU football game, everybody that walks from their parking spot to an LSU football game will pass by the practice facility and see that it's named after a former coach. I'm walking with Jordan to the game one shiny Saturday, some sun-shining Saturday, and he says, Dad, who's Charles McClendon? Jay, Charles McClendon was a coach at LSU for 25 years, had a lot of good players, spent a lot of good time here, and okay. Now little Jay, a 12-year-old, knows who Charlie McClendon is and can grow up and tell the story to him and his kid when they're walking to the game 20 years from now when they see Charlie McClendon Practice Facility. And it's carrying on the legacy of Charlie McClendon. Why not on the outside of the practice facility of LSU women's and men's practice facility? Put Sue Gunter's signature on the side of it. Sue Gunter's practice facility. On the other side of the men's, Dale Brown Practice Facility. Or name it Brown Gunter Practice Facility.
Right.
And that way, everybody that walks past the practice facility, everybody that walks up to a game, everybody that comes through campus, everybody that sees the statues in LSU basketball know that, hey, these two people must have affected the program to a degree that they want to recognize who they are and keep their name eternal around the program.
Damn,
Doing
Jordy.
all of this by not putting their name on the court and causing this just dramatic high school reunion.
They should put you on the board.
Makes too much sense.
Why can't we just put a lot of people's names on the court?
I mean,
Not
yeah,
name it
just-
at all. Just
Yeah,
put their
let's put
signatures
everybody's
all the way
name on
around
it.
the
Yeah,
court.
Let's just throw it all out there, you know?